welcome back to Horizon 180. Before Horizon was 24 hours a day, before we were in Little Armenia, there used to be the show that was 1 hour long in 1989, and there was also a teenage girl named Nyree Derderian who would pull cable when we were shooting Navasartian games. She was one of our first production assistants. Now that young lady is grown up to be a PhD lawyer, and she is here to talk about ARS and all of her years in the ARS and why this year is an important year for the Armenian Relief Society. Nyree, welcome.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, I should also say, if you ever read the Armenian Reporter, it was because Nyree was working behind the scenes to get the paper to you while that newspaper lasted. So we have a lot of history.
We do have a lot of history.
And now you're in the middle of this 100th anniversary celebration. Talk about, first, how this celebration is being done. What's happening around this 100th?
Well, the celebrations for the 100th have actually started in 2009 and 2008 with the East Coast Banquet as the kickoff. And then in 2009, there was a logo opening which the Western region was responsible for. And most recently, in March of this year, there was a Centennial Celebration organized by the Central Executive in New York, where the ARS was actually founded in 1910. And in our region, last Sunday at May 16th at Warner Marriott in Woodland Hills, we had the Centennial Celebration, a gala banquet, which was just an amazing event. And
coming up in September, you have a symposium at USC. What is the theme of the symposium?
The theme of the symposium is building blocks towards the future. Once the ARS now is celebrating its 100th centennial, we're looking to see what we can do in the future, improving our status, improving what we do, maybe reorganizing our projects, and most importantly, getting the youth involved with an organization such as the Armenian Relief Society.
Okay, 1910 New York. The massacres against the Armenians had been going for a while. What was the need that the founders in New York established this organization for?
It was, more than anything else, it was organizing the women of the diaspora and in Armenia to work together for a main cause, which was mostly humanitarian aid. And during the genocide, the ARS was vital in collecting orphans and making sure they had a bowl of food, a bed, and a roof over their heads.
And throughout the years, the humanitarian assistance continued, especially during the earthquake and when the independence movement and the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict showed themselves. Tell us how the ARS responded to Armenia in the late 90s, in the late 80s.
Well, after the earthquake, the ARS was one of the first organizations on the scene to help out in Gyumri and Spidak and that area, and Vanatsor now. Basically, it helped build villages. It helped with the opening of the Akhurian birthing center so that the mortality rate, the infant mortality rate would decrease. And it still continues to help in those areas today.
And there are a number of schools in Armenia and Karabakh, and talk about that.
Okay, in Karabakh especially, right now currently we have 12 kindergartens that are coined as the Sose kindergartens after Sose Mairik. And these kindergartens are basically giving a new start, a head start to the younger generation of the war, from the survivors of the war of Karabakh conflict.
Okay, and simultaneously, education is one of the concerns in the diaspora, because I know the ARS has for years handed out scholarships. Those continue?
Absolutely. There's 3 scholarships in the Western region that students can apply for. And then there is the international scholarship, which is the Armenian scholarship that's handed out yearly by the Central Executive, where sophomores in college can apply for. Alongside the scholarships, we have the youth education programs, whether it's Armenian day schools, which we support, or it's our one-day Saturday schools, where we allow students who cannot afford to go to Armenian day schools, they can afford to learn Armenian and about Armenian history and tradition and culture.
Very well. There's also, at the same time, there are also a number of ARS centers. For example, there's one here in this building. There's the main center in Glendale. And you are offering the public social services. Tell us about what kind of social services.
Oh, varies from immigration services to job hunting to English as a second language. The ARS social services serves more than 40,000 people a year in the Los Angeles area, between Montebello, Hollywood, North Hollywood, Glendale, Pasadena, and the Valley, basically.
And so folks who are in need can come and get information or be directed to the right sources. All of this happens with volunteer hours, with donations. how can people at home get involved? If somebody, do you have to be a woman, first of all, to volunteer?
No.
Okay, and how can people be involved? What can they do for the ARS?
Number one, if you are interested in donating, you can donate via the website at www.arswestusa.org. We now take credit card donations, which is a new step for the ARS. You can call the ARS Center at 818-500-1343, or you can volunteer by becoming a member of the ARS. The application is available online. Supporting ARS events that are taking place on a weekly basis throughout Southern California and Northern California. And it's true. I mean, volunteerism is the only way that the ARS has survived for 100 years.
And aside what is happening day in, day out at the offices, at the Saturday schools, in the orphanages, in the schools in Armenia, this is like a sisterhood of these unique women who are gifted professionals, gifted parents, and they come together and they do service. They're also socializing. There must be a lot of fun you guys have.
Oh, we do have a lot of fun. It's really, I think the greatest gift of the ARS, of volunteering with the ARS, is actually going to a foreign country and knowing that if there are ARS members there, you already have a family. It's a tight-knit family. Like, for example, along with the Centennial Celebrations, in October there was a seminar that was organized by South America. There was over 200 participants from all over the world that participated, and the memories from that are live. It's like we just lived them, and a lot of friendships were formed, and those friendships still continue till this day.
And you also participate in the larger community. I know for a fact that the ARS has a seat at the Armenia Fund, so you have a say into what happens with this global fund. You're also involved when there are genocide commemorations, and you participate, for example, a couple weeks ago you had the ARS Festival, which opened up the ARS to the public. Talk about the festival. What happened there?
Well, the 9th annual festival was at the Glendale Civic Center this year, and we can proudly say that there was the largest amount of non-Armenians that were present at the festival, which was a first. The advertising really paid off, and we had over 30,000 people attend the festival.
Fantastic way to share our culture and our food
Absolutely.
with the public at large, non-Armenians and also Armenians. Nyree, congratulations. This is a huge legacy that your mom has been a part of. I don't know if your grandmother was part of it.
Both grandmothers.
But continued success to you and the organization and all the Ngeruhis, and there's a lot more happening in the next 100 years. The website again and the phone number again if people want to volunteer or donate.
www.arswestusa.org. or 818-500-1343.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you to all the guests. Manuk is ahead, so stay with us on Horizon 180.